Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're comparing a Jeep Wrangler with the Xtreme Recon package to the Wrangler 392 to see if you should actually spend the extra $25,000 plus to get the V8. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Provo, Utah for giving me some time with both of these Jeeps. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So with the V6 Wrangler, it's powered by a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now with the 392, it's got a 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now EPA fuel economy rating is 13 around town and then 16 on the highway. I feel like the EPA just always underrates V8s because in my 392 I get 17 miles per gallon, just saying. Anyways, power outputs 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So I picked out a Rubicon Xtreme Recon because I would say that it's the most comparable to the 392 because the 392 is a Rubicon with a big V8 under the hood. And there are some key differences with the front end. First of which, you got the hydro guide on the 392, whereas you have fake vents on the V6 Rubicon. And then notice with the grille how just part of it is blacked out, whereas with the 392, the whole grille has been blacked out because it's got the satin black package. And then you can see the gold tow hooks here on the bumper, and both of these have the factory winch kit. Notice with the red tow hooks. Ground clearance is the same with both of these, as they both have the Xtreme Recon. And so that means that they both have 35-inch tall tires from the factory. Now, the wheel design is the same, but the coloration is different. So you can see with the 392's got kind of like the bronze accenting, whereas with the V6, it's got the silver accenting. And yeah, you can see all this is the same height. Notice painted, this is unpainted on this particular one. Rock rail protection on both of them. I think see with the 392, the hardtop also painted, whereas this one happens to be unpainted. And so here's your full side view with the V6 Wrangler, and then here's your full side view with the V8 Wrangler. Now another key exterior difference is going to be the exhaust tip appearance. So with the 392, you've got the quad outlet exhaust, you know, really aggressive and rowdy and all of that. And then also look at these shocks, how they kind of custom paint them and everything, even though they both have the Mopar shocks. Because if you look here, you got the single exhaust tip, and then also it's just red there. But something to mention, the 392 does have a beefed up frame and everything to handle the extra power, whereas that one, just regular Wrangler. But there's the back ends. And then if we pop inside, there's not really going to be a whole lot of differences. So this is the regular Wrangler. You can see with the red stitching. Being a Rubicon, we've got front and rear locking differential. We've got the sway bar disconnect. You got your 2-speed transfer case. These seats, power, leather, all of that stuff, pretty fancy setup. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the interior because literally the only difference, you can see red stitching with this, so it's the same. It's just the seat coloration basically. So you can see it says Rubicon 392 as well. And then with the steering wheel, no, they both have red stitching. Yeah, and on the dash, like the dash is pretty much the same. And then since they're both Rubicon, sway bar disconnect, all of that. And so there's not really, other than the seat coloration, the interiors are the same. So, but there is definitely a difference in pricing. That sticker's for about $75K. That sticker's for about $99K. So there's almost a $25,000 price difference between the two Wranglers. So let's take them out, drive them, and see if that's worth the extra 25 grand. Talk about visibility in the Wrangler. Let's open the hood, both mirrors do have blind spotting. The rest of the rear, and Xtreme Recon away. So this package only exists because of Ford. When I say what I mean is, Jeep was more than content with doing 33s on the Wrangler for everything. And then Ford came along with the Bronco Sasquatch, and Jeep went, oh boy, well, now we gotta re-gear the Wrangler from the factory, and we gotta put bigger tires on it, right? Jeep left that stuff up to the owners for the longest time, and now from the factory you can get 35s and a re-geared Wrangler. And let me tell you, it does make quite a bit of a difference. Now you sit higher obviously with 35s, but also this little Pentastar V6 doesn't have all that much power in today's world. And with these 35s, it can move them. It can move them. And I'd say ride quality is good with this. Bigger tires always helps out. Let's finally get our acceleration here with the Xtreme Recon. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Overall, I think that this drives well, it handles well, and yeah, again, that re-gearing helps out quite a bit with the Xtreme Recon, even though this is a little Pentastar V6. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood. Both the mirrors, 2 blind spotting. The rest of the rear. And well, I can tell you right off the bat, it sounds a heck of a lot better. Even with the exhaust valve, look, this is closed. Even with the exhaust valves closed, still sounds better than that dinky little V6. And the thing that's crazy to think about is the fact that this still exists today, for now. It says the last year for the 392. Such a glorious sound. Now it does feel like a heavier vehicle, and the steering is worse on the 392 than the regular. And a big part of that is this is 4-wheel drive all the time, whereas that is 2-wheel high until you put it in 4-wheel high. So yeah, you just kind of get this slightly heavier, slightly vaguer steering in the 392, which, you know, not the worst thing on the planet, but it's something that you got to be aware of. Ah, that sound. That sound. I drove my 392 to work today, and mine has AWE's exhaust, which I always recommend that exhaust. It makes it sound so much better, and it looks better in the back. And it's crazy, this sounds quiet compared to mine. Like, mine idles louder than this is under throttle, is the noise difference. Yeah, it's a whole lot quicker, sounds a whole lot better than the V6. And like I said, in my personal experience, the EPA hates V8s. The EPA is like anti-V8, and so they always give V8s horrible economy ratings, way worse than what you actually get in real life. Every single V8 car I've owned, I get better than what the EPA rates it at. Every single turbo car I've owned, I get worse than what the EPA rates it at. So, and also something I want to mention with 392 is I feel like the damping, it shouldn't be any different than the Xtreme Recon, but it almost, no, it doesn't feel any better. It's about the same. It's about the same. So, anywho, is this worth the extra 25 G's? If you equip them pretty similarly, they're about $25,000 price difference. And here's my thought process on this. If you're going to keep the vehicle forever, and like you're actually going to keep that V6 forever, obviously you're saving a bunch of money, and if you don't actually drive around like a race car driver, yeah, the V8 might not be worth it, and it's expensive, and you'll save yourself a bunch of money, yeah. But overall, I think it's worth it. I think this is worth the extra money, because my thought is, as somebody who owns one of these, you buy this and you never want to buy another Jeep again. So instead of, you know, buying a V6, trading it in for a 2.0 turbo, trading in for a 4xe, whatever, you know, you're doing all those vehicle trades, losing money every single time. It's like you buy this, one and done. And so it is more money, but it's a vehicle that you just never want to sell. I've owned mine for over 2 years, and you know, YouTube, those of you that follow YouTube know that YouTube pushes people to kind of buy cars all the time that do the stuff on the platform, right? That's what sells views. And so typically, you know, I'll change cars for the channel every 6 months. Look at that, not even in it has so much torque that even in 4-wheel high, or no, not even 4-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, so this is all-wheel drive mode. These curbs usually, like, sometimes you have to put cars in 4-wheel low to get up these curbs, I'm serious. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to sell it. Like, even with the YouTube benefit of selling it and getting something new that might get more views, like, I'm like, I don't care. I will die on the 392 hill, because it's just such a cool vehicle. And especially since they're getting rid of this, I don't think that I'm not in the category that value is going to go up anytime soon. I think that values are going to just probably stay flat. I think that they're going to be what they are on the used car market for the next, who knows how many years. They might go up in the future, who knows at this point, but I don't think they're going to go down, because once this is gone, there's never been anything built like this from Jeep in the past. So 392 for me.